Let me take you back to the first time I learned hypnosis. I had just signed up for this course and they sent me this super fancy USB stick. It looked like a sleek business card, but surprise, it folded out into a USB with all the course material. I felt like I had just joined the Matrix. As a wise woman once said, although the world is full of suffering, it's also full of the overcoming of it. So I plugged this USB in, opened the folders, and there it is, an entire A to Z of hypnosis scripts. And guess what A stood for? Amputee. Not anxiety or addiction like you'd expect, but amputee in the script. Phantom limb pain with tinnitus. I paused. I thought, wait, hold on. You're telling me this person has lost a limb? And they also hear high-pitched ringing in their ears constantly? That's not just pain, that's pain layered with invisible noise. And yet there was a script. Someone, somewhere thought, even this can be helped. That was the moment I knew there's power in the mind that most people never tap into. Phantom limb pain is real. Your brain, your nerves, your entire body remembers what was there, even when it's gone. It's not just physical, it's emotional, psychological, spiritual. Now add tinnitus, the sound that never stops. You can't run from it. You can't silence it. So how do you live? You don't just live, you lead. Because that's what I've learned. What I've seen is that amputees aren't broken people, and those living with chronic conditions like tinnitus, you are warriors too, in a world that barely understands your battlefield. Take Albert U. Minlin, a National Geographic explorer who lost his right leg in an off-road accident. He suffered relentless phantom limb pain, burning, twisting, agonizing. Nothing worked until he began exploring mind-based approaches, including mirror therapy and psychedelics. Through shifting his mental state, he shifted his pain. And then there's Paul Wittgenstein, the concert pianist who lost his right arm in World War I. Despite the trauma and lingered ghost sensations, he reimagined his entire career, commissioning left-hand piano compositions and continuing to perform. He didn't give up music, he reinvented it. And Carol Haslam, the Irish mother who lost her arm to cancer. Despite her high-tech prosthetic, she still feels the hand that isn't there. Instead of fighting it, she's learning to live along with it, with strength, presence, and grace. As for tinnitus, I've had clients who have made real progress. Not always fast, not always easy, but with commitment, the right strategies, and neuroplastic techniques like hypnosis, we've found relief, not just distraction, but actual change. And that gives me hope, even in the most stubborn cases. These aren't exceptions. These are the nervous system's blueprints for recovery and renewal. People like Albert Lynn didn't just survive, they reprogrammed their brain's relationship with pain. That's neuroplasticity in action. Pain is processed in the brain, not in the limb, and sound perceived in the mind. So if the mind can amplify distress, the mind can also dissolve it. And that's not just hope, it's science. And every time the brain learns something new, the door opens a little wider. Take Fiona Callahan, who lost her leg in the 2004 tsunami in Southeast Asia. She found healing through yoga and became a dedicated practitioner and teacher. For her, yoga wasn't just about physical recovery. It was a way to reclaim her sense of self. And Dan Nevis, a US Army veteran who lost both his legs in combat. He found yoga to be transformative, both mentally and physically, and now teaches others to harness its power for recovery and growth. Pain is processed in the brain, not in the limb. So if the mind holds the pain, the mind can also change the pain. That's not just hypnosis, that's neuroscience. Rewiring is possible, and that possibility is power. Here are some practical action steps. 1. Start with awareness. Don't pretend the pain isn't there. Name it, describe it. Be curious about it. 2. Try hypnosis. Even 10 minutes a day can begin to rewire how your brain interprets pain and memory. 3. Use movement, whether it's mirror therapy, gentle stretching, or adaptive training. Move what can move. 4. Set bold goals, not just survival, thriving. Relearn your relationship with your body and aim high. Here's some free advice. Keep a journal. Notice patterns in your pain or tinnitus. What helps? What hurts? You are not your limb. You are not your pain. You are not less. You're someone who has walked through fire and is still standing. That's not weakness. That's power most people never know. And if today sucks, if the ringing won't stop, if the ghost limb is screaming, breathe. Remember who you are. This chapter is brutal, yes, but it's also the part of the story where heroes are made. Today we talked about reclaiming your mind, your body, your identity. Whether you're dealing with phantom limb pain, tinnitus, or the emotional aftershock of amputation, you're not broken. You're just being reforged. So here's what I want you to do. Own your story. Use tools like hypnosis, like visualization, like adaptive movement, because they do work. But more than anything, decide right now that your spirit is stronger than your struggle. You're not just surviving this, you're redefining what it means to live, and that is something the world needs to see. So show them you've got this.